Tonight, you'll descend into a place the world forgot, a secret buried beneath Rome, where the air still hums with voices older than scripture, and the walls remember what faith tried to erase. Let the sound of the earth slow your breath, and the dark cradle you softly into the past. Because what you're about to uncover wasn't written to be read, but to be remembered. Before we begin, take a moment to drift deeper. Dim the lights. Breathe slow. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and tap the bell, so when the next secret wakes beneath the Vatican dust, you'll be here to witness it. Now, close your eyes. The stairs are waiting. You descend through the narrow staircase beneath St. Peter's Basilica, where the air grows colder with every step. The walls sweat moisture from centuries of silence. Each breath you take feels borrowed, as though the stone itself resents being disturbed. The light behind you fades. Ahead, only a single lamp hums, its glow thin, almost apologetic. The Vatican's archives are not like the libraries you've seen in photographs. There are no towering shelves, no tidy rows of bound scripture. Down here, everything feels older than the church, older than Rome. The walls are carved from bedrock that hums faintly, as if remembering something too vast to say aloud. You are guided by a man in a simple cassock. He carries no cross, no rosary, only a ring of iron keys. He does not speak. When you ask how far down you are, he gives a small, almost reluctant smile, far enough to meet the ones who wrote before us. At the corridor's end, a bronze door waits. Its surface is etched with symbols that are not Latin, spirals, suns, a language of curves. The man touches the center with his palm. For a moment, the symbols flare softly, as if recognizing his skin. The door opens with a sigh. Inside, the air changes. It smells of clay and myrrh, an ancient scent that seems to come not from the room, but from time itself. In the center, on a stone pedestal, rests a fragment of clay no larger than your hand. It is cracked, burned, imperfect, yet alive with energy. Cuneiform, the world's first script, the beginning of written thought. Your guide lowers his head. This, he says, was found beneath the ruins of Nineveh in 1853. The church took it soon after. They said it was to preserve history, but history was not what they feared. You step closer. The marks on the tablet twist under the lamplight, lines upon lines, like rivers frozen midstream. You can feel vibration under your fingertips, a pulse faint as breath. The text glows faintly, like something trying to speak after millennia of sleep. The man watches you. His eyes reflect the light strangely, gold at the edges. Do you know its name? He asks. You shake your head. It is the 11th tablet of Gilgamesh, he says, the story of the flood. Your chest tightens. You've heard of it. An older flood than Noah's, a story that predates the Bible by 1,000 years. You whisper, but why would the Vatican hide it? He turns to the shadows, voice low. Because this is the first record of a God who feared man. The first time creation looked back at its maker and asked, why should I die if you do not? He moves to a shelf and retrieves a small piece of parchment, yellowed, brittle. On it, a translation, ink faded by age. The gods wept for mankind, but one god, Ea, whispered to Utnapishtim, build an ark of reeds, and the seed of life shall endure. The flood, the ark, the salvation of one man. Every word feels familiar, yet older, raw, like the Bible's reflection in a dark pool. You feel it then, the tremor of something forbidden. He speaks again. When this translation first reached the church, a few understood what it meant. The flood story in Genesis was not revelation, it was repetition. The Bible did not invent salvation, it inherited it. You stare at the clay, it almost seems to breathe. So they hid it, they buried it, he corrects softly, and rewrote it in Latin. The lamp flickers. For a brief instant, you think you hear sound. A whisper, low, rhythmic. Words forming inside your skull, though no mouth speaks them. The gods were many. The silence was one. You step back. The man's expression doesn't change. It speaks when it is ready. The text remembers those who read it. The hum deepens. You feel your pulse align with it. Something old and alive coils beneath your skin. Recognition. As if the story has been waiting, not to be told, but to be remembered. Gilgamesh, the man says, was not a myth. He was a warning. He gestures toward the tablet, reverent yet afraid. He defied death. He challenged the gods. And what he found, he pauses, searching for words, was the truth we still hide beneath marble. You ask him what truth. He looks at you for a long moment. That immortality was never divine. It was engineered. The lamp dims. The room feels smaller. You glance down at the tablet. Its symbols twist once more, lines rearranging as if alive, forming new words for your eyes alone. The ones who rose from clay shall return to clay, unless they remember the song. You blink. The words vanish. The clay cools. When you look up, the man is gone. Only the tablet remains, humming faintly, breathing through stone. You realize the church didn't fear myth. It feared memory. And this fragment, was not a story. It was a seed. Somewhere deep within you, something ancient stirs, whispering in a voice not your own. Find the next tablet. The flood was only the beginning. The door behind you creaks closed. The light fades. You are alone with the oldest truth on earth. And it is awake. You dream of water. Endless, rising water, swallowing stone and stars alike. In your sleep, voices call, not in panic, but in song. You wake, with their melody still echoing in your chest. The Vatican is silent above you, but the air feels heavy. You return to the vault, drawn not by curiosity, but by something that feels like duty. The tablet waits as before, but tonight, the marks glow faintly blue, like moonlight caught in wet clay. You touch it. Instantly, sound floods your mind. Waves, thunder, weeping. The story unfolds not as words, but as memory. You see a man standing on a riverbank, his skin dark with sun, his eyes reflecting stars. Utnapishtim, the immortal who survived when the world drowned. His voice speaks through the hum. The gods quarreled, and mankind was the casualty of their pride. Around him, cities crumble beneath walls of water. Towers fall like candles snuffed by wind. The air itself screams. And then, silence. The silence after judgment. You open your eyes. You are back in the vault, drenched in cold sweat. The tablet lies still. Yet the images remain, etched into you. The parallels strike like lightning. A divine flood, a chosen survivor, a promise made in regret. You whisper, "This is Noah, centuries before Noah." A voice answers from behind you, the man from before, stepping out of the dark. Yes, and it was not divine punishment. It was an experiment gone wrong. You turn to face him. His eyes are bright now, fevered. The Sumerians wrote that the gods created man from clay mixed with their own essence. When humanity grew restless, too aware, they sought to erase what they made. But one of them disobeyed. Ea, you murmur. He nods. The first heretic, the one who saved knowledge. You look again at the tablet. The cuneiform symbols pulse like veins. Then the Bible's God, he finishes for you, quietly, was not the first. The room vibrates as if the stone itself disapproves. Dust falls from the ceiling. The hum grows louder. The man presses his hand to the pedestal to steady it. Every flood is both cleansing and reset, he says. When the old world remembers too much, the gods start again. You ask, and the church knew this? He smiles sadly. They found proof in the 19th century. When Assyrian ruins revealed these tablets, scholars saw the resemblance. But the Vatican knew what others didn't, that the pattern repeats. He opens a small leather case. Inside lies a second fragment, darker, scorched. This one was found near the Euphrates, never translated publicly. It describes the watchers who warned humanity before the flood, half gods, half men. The church called them angels, but here he taps the clay. They are engineers. You lean closer. The inscription flickers with life. You hear the faint rhythm again, the same hum beneath the basilica walls. The same vibration, you whisper. The same code, he says. Every faith carries echoes of this first frequency. The flood wasn't water, it was sound, a resonance that erased form, reshaped memory. The lamp flickers, the air ripples. For a heartbeat, you see water rising around your ankles, phantom waves shimmering in the dark. It's happening again, isn't it? You whisper. He doesn't answer. His gaze is fixed on the clay, as though listening for a heartbeat. We are close to remembering, he murmurs. And when memory awakens, so does the flood. The stone groans beneath your feet. Somewhere above, a bell tolls. Faint, off sequence. The same resonance you heard in your dream. The man steps back, fear flickering through his composure. Do you hear it? He asks. You nod. Then you've been chosen, he says softly. Once the word was written in stone, now it must be written in flesh. You try to ask what he means, but the room is already fading. Light dissolving, air thickening, sound swallowing everything. You hear water again, vast and endless. A voice rises from its depths, the same one that spoke to Utnapishtim. Build again. The flood returns not with rain, but with remembrance. When you blink, the vault is empty. The man is gone. The tablet lies silent, its glow extinguished. But in the stillness, your pulse carries a rhythm not your own. Ancient, tidal, divine. The flood has begun inside you. The air of Iraq carries a taste of copper and ash. You stand among the ruins of Uruk, the city of kings, the first true city of man. The desert hums beneath your boots, a low, steady vibration that seems to come from the bones of the earth itself. There is no wind, yet dust moves in small, deliberate spirals, as though guided by memory. Your guide from the Vatican archives is gone. You traveled here alone, following coordinates hidden in the tablet's inscription. Beneath the words, beneath the flood story, there was a pattern, not of language, but of geometry. It led here to the birthplace of civilization, and perhaps of disobedience. Before you lies the broken wall of Uruk, massive even in ruin, blocks the size of rooms, each one carved with faint inscriptions now eroded to whispers. You trace a line across the stone. It vibrates under your hand. You hear it faintly, a low pulse, rhythmic, like a heartbeat buried deep within the world. You remember the flood tablet's final phrase. The ones who rose from clay shall return to clay, unless they remember the song. Uruk remembers. The stones hum the melody of their making. The sun lowers. The ruins glow red. Somewhere beneath this ground, Gilgamesh once walked. 2/3 divine, 1/3 mortal. The first seeker, the first rebel. You can almost see him moving among the walls, a silhouette of bronze and shadow. You whisper his name. The wind answers. A figure moves through the dust. Not ghost, not man. Something in between. Its form shimmers, edges flickering like heat mirage. When it speaks, its voice sounds like stone grinding against stone. You seek what the priests buried, it says. But Uruk was buried long before the church. You step closer. Who are you? The one who remembers the city when it sang. The figure replies. when the gods still walked among us. You feel your skin prickle. Gilgamesh? It smiles faintly, though the expression is wrong. Too ancient, too knowing. Names are graves. I am what remains when memory outlives the body. The air trembles. The ground shifts slightly beneath your feet. For a heartbeat, you see the city whole. Towers gleaming with polished gold, gardens hanging in spirals, the Euphrates winding like a silver serpent through the heart of paradise. The sound is everywhere, thousands of voices chanting in one tone, a harmony that builds, folds, and becomes pure light. Then, silence. The city collapses back into ruin. The figure watches you. They told you we were primitive, it says. That Uruk was mud and worship, but we built with sound. Every stone was tuned to the breath of the gods. That is why our walls still hum. You kneel, pressing your ear to the ground. The hum grows stronger. Beneath the sand, beneath centuries of silence, you hear vibration, faint but structured, like a song repeating itself across millennia. What happened to it, you ask? The figure looks toward the horizon. We forgot the frequency. You understand then what the church feared. Uruk was not myth. It was technology, spiritual, biological, architectural, the fusion of creation and sound. The people of Uruk had discovered what Gilgamesh sought, the resonance of eternity. The figure steps closer. He wanted to share it, it says. He wanted all men to remember, but immortality was not gift. It was contagion. The gods silenced him to save themselves. A sound pierces the air, low, metallic, like a great bell struck deep underground. The ruins vibrate. Dust lifts. You feel the hum travel up your legs into your chest. The figure's form begins to flicker. Uruk still breathes, it whispers. Its memory is in the blood of those who listen. Find the next frequency. Beneath faith lies function. The vision shatters. The figure dissolves into dust that glows faintly before fading. The desert returns to stillness. You realize your hand is bleeding. When you look down, you see a pattern forming on your palm. Faint spirals of gold dust, identical to the ones carved into the walls of the Vatican vault. The hum fades, but you still feel it inside you, the rhythm of something vast and alive. Uruk has marked you. The city remembers, and now so do you. As the sun sinks beyond the dunes, you understand that this was never about myth or faith. It was about preservation. The Vatican didn't bury the tablets to protect belief. They did it to contain memory. A memory too powerful, too ancient, too true. The walls whisper once more before the night closes around you. Find the next tablet. The king still walks. You leave Uruk, but the hum follows, resonating softly in your bones. The sound of civilization remembering its own origin. Night spreads over the desert like ink poured on glass. You walk alone beneath a sky heavy with stars. The same sky Gilgamesh once stared at when he realized the gods could die. Every legend calls him a tyrant, a warrior king, a half-divine despot who defied heaven. But the tablet's fragments tell a different story. Not a man who ruled others, but one who questioned his makers. You make camp near the river. The air smells of dust and jasmine. The stars shimmer as though pulsing in rhythm to the hum inside your chest. Sleep comes slow, heavy. In your dream, you see him. Gilgamesh stands beside a giant wall of light. Not stone, not energy, something between. His face is bronze and sorrowful, his eyes reflecting the constellations above. Beside him stands another, wild, unshaven, eyes bright as stormlight. Enkidu, the one born of earth, shaped by gods to humble the king. Their voices blend with the sound of the river. You are no god, Enkidu says. Then neither are they. Gilgamesh replies. The air trembles. You realize you are not watching, but standing with them, unseen yet present, as if the dream itself has folded time. They speak of temples where gods descend, not from heaven, but from machines of fire. They speak of rituals that open doors through sound. They speak of immortality as design, not gift. Gilgamesh looks at you, though he should not see you, and says, "Every age forgets what it is made of, but the clay remembers." You wake, gasping. The river is silent. Dawn bleeds across the horizon. The hum inside you has changed. Deeper now, almost human. You hear voices overlapping, thousands speaking the same name. Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh. You follow the sound. It leads you to a mound of eroded stone, the remains of an ancient ziggurat. The wind shifts, revealing a chamber half buried beneath sand. Inside, carvings cover the walls, scenes of kings kneeling before beings with wings of metal and faces of light, the gods of Sumer, the same forms that would later become angels in the West. At the chamber's center stands a broken statue of Gilgamesh, arms outstretched toward the sky. In his hand, carved in perfect detail, a small tablet. You brush the sand away and find symbols, circles within circles, spirals matching those on your palm. This was no offering, it was a warning. The inscription reads, "The gods are not eternal. They feed on remembrance. When man forgets, they vanish. When man remembers, they fall." You step back, the weight of it pressing into your bones. The gods needed worship, because worship was energy, resonance, the vibration that sustained them. Gilgamesh had learned this truth and defied it. He and Enkidu had killed one of them, Humbaba, guardian of the cedar forest, the divine machine that maintained the boundary between heaven and earth. It was not a beast, as later myths would claim. It was a sentry, a living engine that sang the frequency of obedience. By destroying it, Gilgamesh shattered the symmetry that held gods above men. You run your hand across the statue's chest. Beneath the stone, faint heat lingers. For a moment, you hear the echo of his voice again, clear and calm. If gods may die, then man may live forever. The chamber trembles. Dust cascades from the ceiling. The hum returns, louder now, resonating through every surface. You feel it in your blood, in your teeth, in the back of your skull. Images flash before your eyes. Cities of gold dissolving into sand, towers collapsing, fire descending like rain. The gods retreating to the sky, leaving humanity behind with the curse of mortality. A failsafe encoded into the blood of clay. You fall to your knees. The hum subsides. Only the wind remains. Then you notice the wall behind the statue. A carving, half buried, depicting two figures, Gilgamesh and Enkidu, facing a door of light. Above it, the same spiral that follows you everywhere. You touch it. The stone shifts. The door opens inward, revealing a small chamber bathed in soft blue glow. Inside, a fragment of another tablet rests on a pedestal. The marks shimmer faintly, as if aware of your presence. This one is different, smoother, more deliberate. It feels less like writing and more like code. You hear a faint whisper, words rising through your mind. The king ascends, the gods retreat. The silence prepares its throne. You take the fragment. It pulses once, warm as breath, before cooling in your hand. Outside, thunder rumbles, though no storm crosses the sky. You look upward and see a faint spiral of light twisting among the clouds. Too perfect to be natural, too precise to be chance. The voice returns, not from within, but from everywhere. He sought to become like us, but we were never what he thought. You realize then, the gods were not creators. They were curators, architects of containment, guardians of resonance. They did not make man to worship them. They made man to sustain them. and Gilgamesh's defiance broke their system. The spiral fades from the sky. The desert falls silent again. You hold the tablet close. Its warmth seeps into your skin, embedding itself in memory. You whisper to the ruins, to the sky, to whatever still listens. If he defied them once, he can be remembered again. The wind answers, soft and certain. Then remember him well. You wake in a bed that is not yours. The sheets smell of incense and sand. The window beside you shows no dawn, no stars, only a dim, perpetual twilight. Somewhere beyond the glass, a city breathes in silence. Uruk again, but not as ruins, alive, awake. You rise. The air hums faintly. The walls are engraved with spirals of gold that shift when you blink. Each line sings a faint note, so soft you feel it rather than hear it. You are dreaming, but it does not feel like your dream. You are inside someone else's memory. A shadow stands by the window, tall, broad, wrapped in a cloak of woven bronze. His hair catches the dim light like wire. When he turns, you recognize him without ever seeing him before. Gilgamesh. His eyes meet yours. They are not human. They hold the exhaustion of eternity. He gestures toward the horizon. You see the towers of Uruk shimmering, each crowned with fire. The river glows like liquid mercury. Above it, something vast moves, wings, enormous and metallic, unfolding across the sky. It began here, he says. His voice is not sound, but vibration. You hear it in your bones. The gods feared what they had made. They sent watchers to measure the dream of man. He closes his eyes, and you see through them, visions rising like smoke, a council of beings in a chamber of light, their faces hidden, their voices layered like chords. They grow too aware, one says. They build without command, says another. A flood will reset the pattern, and then silence, before a third voice, lower, gentler. We built them in our image. Let them be as we were, curious, flawed, eternal. That was Ea, the one who warned the mortal, the one who defied the order. Gilgamesh continues. The dream came to me before the flood returned. Stars fell from the sky, rivers turned to glass, and from the heavens I saw the city dissolve like salt. He steps closer. His expression changes. Not fear, but awe. The gods are not gone, he whispers. They have only changed their names. You feel the dream deepen. The walls around you dissolve. You stand now in a desert of black sand. Above, constellations pulse like circuitry. Gilgamesh kneels before a stone altar, pressing his hand to a symbol you've seen before. The spiral. It glows, and the air ripples. The song of creation, he says. The one they hid inside the blood of man. He begins to hum, low, resonant, ancient. The sound vibrates through your body, through the sand, through everything. Shapes rise from the ground, figures of light, their forms shifting between divine and human. They are beautiful, terrible. They are the builders, Gilgamesh says. Not gods, engineers of frequency. They made this world through sound, and they feared we would learn to do the same. One of the luminous beings turns its face toward you. Its eyes are hollow. Its voice is a chord of many tones. Every creation must forget, or it becomes a god itself. You fall backward, breath ripped from your lungs. The dream fractures. Flashes of water, of stone, of faces screaming beneath waves. When you open your eyes again, you are back in the bed. The air is still, but something inside you has changed. You remember every detail, the light, the hum, the warning. A voice echoes faintly from nowhere and everywhere at once. Dreams are not escape. they are transmission. You understand then why the Vatican buried the tablets. Gilgamesh's dreams were not visions, they were recordings, echoes of contact. You rise, your heartbeat matching the hum of the room. The gold patterns on the wall shift again. Words form within them. The dream remembers what the waking denies. You blink. The words vanish. The hum fades. But your chest still vibrates with the same low resonance. When you step outside, dawn is breaking. The ruins of Uruk are ruins once more, but the memory remains vivid, alive. You whisper to the empty air. What did you see that made them silence you? The wind answers softly, carrying the rhythm of his voice. I saw the gods dream of man, and I saw man begin to dream of gods. The dream was not prophecy, it was symmetry. You walk into the rising sun, the hum of the dream still alive in your bones. Somewhere deep within, the spiral of memory continues to turn. And for the first time, you begin to suspect that you are not only witnessing the story of Gilgamesh, you are becoming part of its recurrence. The dream continues through you. The road to Lebanon winds through silence. The forests that once fed the temples of Sumer now lie thin and haunted. Yet the name remains. The cedar forest, the place where Gilgamesh met the guardian of forbidden knowledge. You arrive at dusk. The trees lean inward as though listening. The air smells of resin and rain. Somewhere deep within the forest, something moves. A vibration, steady and low, pulsing like a living drum. You follow it. The deeper you go, the stranger the air feels. Heavier, charged. The trunks hum faintly. Their bark carries faint markings, spirals, geometric codes identical to those on the tablets. You realize the forest itself is alive with the same frequency. The legend says Gilgamesh came here with Enkidu to slay Humbaba, the guardian appointed by the gods. But in the glow between the trees, the word monster feels wrong. Whatever waits here is not evil, it is awake. You reach a clearing. The hum rises, shaking the leaves. In its center stands a structure, not temple, not machine, something in between. A pillar of fused stone and metal, pulsing with light. The air bends around it. Then you hear it. A voice that is not sound but vibration through your chest. Why do you come where man was forbidden to hear? You cannot answer. The pillar flickers, and from its surface steps a figure. Tall, faceless, its form rippling with liquid light. It speaks again. You are not him, but you carry his code. You understand. It senses the mark Uruk left on your palm, the spiral, the resonance of Gilgamesh's bloodline. I seek what he sought, you say softly. The truth the gods hid. The figure tilts its head. Truth is a word for patterns men cannot endure. It gestures, and the trees around you shift. Light pours through their branches, forming shapes, visions flickering like film across reality. You see Gilgamesh and Enkidu standing before this very guardian thousands of years ago. Enkidu trembles. Gilgamesh steps forward, fearless. I do not seek to destroy you, he says in the vision, only to understand why we must die. Humbaba's form shimmers, voice both sorrow and thunder. Because death is the silence that sustains the song. Without it, the music collapses. You see Gilgamesh raise his weapon. Light floods the clearing. The sound that follows is unbearable. Not scream, not explosion, but a single tone that fractures the world. The forest folds in on itself, and the guardian dissolves into dust. The vision ends. The clearing falls quiet. The modern forest trembles as if remembering. The being before you flickers. He silenced the keeper of balance, it says, and so the flood returned. You feel the weight of it, the price of defiance. Gilgamesh did not slay a monster. He ended the circuit that held creation together. The gods did not punish him for arrogance. They punished him for breaking the rhythm. The being steps closer, and now the silence grows again. You hear it, do you not? You nod. The hum that once comforted now sounds fractured, uneven, wounded. Every age seeks the song, it says. Every age kills its guardian. It reaches toward you, hand of light touching your forehead. Instantly, you see flashes, the Vatican vaults humming with hidden frequencies, the clay tablets pulsing like heartbeats beneath marble floors, priests whispering ancient names behind closed doors. You see the present collapsing into the past. The same pattern, the same arrogance. The being's voice softens. The forest remembers. The clay remembers. Do you? The question burns through you. Do you? You open your eyes. The clearing is empty. The pillar has vanished. Only silence remains, heavy, absolute. But as you step away, you realize the silence is not absence. It is waiting. The hum is not gone. It is beneath you now, deep within the earth, asleep but aware. You look back one last time. The trees shimmer faintly, as if exhaling light. You understand then that Humbaba was never the enemy. He was the keeper of the balance between remembrance and destruction. Gilgamesh broke that balance. You have inherited its echo. The Vatican may call it myth. The Church may call it heresy. But here, in the heart of the forest, truth hums beneath the roots. The wind shifts. The trees whisper in an ancient tongue. The song must return, or the silence will reign forever. You walk out of the forest, the hum still faint beneath your feet. The stars above flicker, as though listening. And somewhere, far away, in a vault beneath Rome, the clay tablet begins to pulse again. Steady, rhythmic, alive. The forest has spoken. The memory has awakened. And the gods, wherever they are listening. You arrive in the city of Erech by night. The modern town rests like a shadow atop the bones of Uruk. Beneath its streets, beneath its quiet mosques and dust-worn markets, the goddess still waits. The one the Sumerians called Inanna, the queen of heaven, the morning star who loved Gilgamesh and cursed him when he refused her. You find her temple not by direction, but by vibration. The hum you have followed since the Vatican vault grows sharper here, almost metallic, like a string pulled too tight. It pulls you toward a low mound of stone surrounded by scaffolds and neglect. The air smells of earth and lightning. You step closer and feel it. The pulse of something sleeping, old, feminine, divine. Beneath the layers of ruin, a door waits. The spiral marks again, carved deep, glowing faintly when your hand passes over them. You press your palm against the center, and the stone gives way like water. The air inside is heavy and perfumed. Myrrh, rose, iron, the scent of blood mixed with devotion. You descend a narrow stairway into a chamber where walls shimmer with mica. On the far side stands a statue of a woman, tall, winged, her eyes inlaid with lapis and obsidian. In her left hand, she holds a lion by the mane. In her right, a ring of stars. You know her instantly. Inanna, Ishtar, the goddess who was both creation and destruction, desire and war. The one who offered immortality to Gilgamesh and, when denied, unleashed the bull of heaven in vengeance. You whisper her name. The sound echoes, rippling through the stone like breath caught in a throat. Then she answers, not with words, but with presence. The air thickens. The mica on the walls glows softly, pulsing in rhythm to your heart. A whisper slides into your ear, silk and thunder intertwined. You carry his echo, she says. The scent of the defiant king still clings to you. You fall to your knees. The air around you trembles with impossible beauty. Her form steps from the statue, light folding itself into flesh, wings made of flame and dust. Her eyes burn like distant suns. You seek what he sought, she murmurs, circling you slowly, but you will pay what he would not. Her voice is honey and iron. You manage to speak. He sought immortality. He sought the truth behind the gods. She stops before you. He sought to love me, yet he feared what that meant. Her hand touches your face, warm and electric. Immortality is not endless life. It is endless awareness. To love me is to see all things, always. And he, your precious king, refused. You remember the story. Gilgamesh spurning her, claiming she brought ruin to every lover she touched. But here, in her presence, it feels less like arrogance and more like terror. The terror of one who looked into infinity and flinched. He was afraid, you whisper. Her smile fades. And so he doomed himself to die. The walls tremble. Fragments of gold dust swirl around her, forming shapes, visions. You see Gilgamesh on his throne, Enkidu beside him. You see the goddess standing before them, radiant, offering not flesh, but union, a merging of mortal and divine consciousness. He refuses. She turns her gaze to you. He could have become as we were, but the gods feared such merging, for in unity there is no worship. The air cracks. You see a storm forming above Uruk, lightning shaped like wings. You see the bull of heaven descending, its body not of flesh, but of iron. It crashes through the city, tearing towers apart. Screams rise. Gilgamesh and Enkidu fight it, and together they kill it. The vision ends. The chamber dims. The goddess stands before you once more, her face unreadable. He killed my messenger. He severed the last bond between man and heaven. She steps closer. You feel her breath against your skin, cool and electric. And now you carry what he broke. You want to ask what she means, but the words die. Her eyes flicker with pity. Tell me, she says softly, when your kind prays, do they listen for answers, or only for echoes of themselves? You stay silent. She knows the answer. Her wings unfold, vast, shimmering, terrible. The chamber shakes. They buried my temples. They called me sin. They wrote me out of heaven, yet still I speak in their symbols. The star, the crown, the virgin, and the serpent. I am the shadow beneath every scripture. Her voice lowers. And you have awoken the memory they feared most, the bond between flesh and divinity. She leans closer, whispering into your ear. Do you know why the Vatican keeps his tablets buried? You shake your head. Because within them lies the proof that creation was born not of command, but of desire. Her words cut through you like fire. You see it then, the ancient truth hidden beneath millennia of dogma. Creation was not an act of control, but of yearning. The universe itself was love, and the church rebranded it as obedience. Inanna steps back. Her glow begins to fade. You have seen enough, she says. But remember this, love is not mercy. It is transformation. The light collapses inward, and you are left alone before the statue. The air is still. The hum remains faint, like a pulse retreating beneath the world. You touch the spiral carved into the floor. It burns beneath your hand, leaving a mark, the same spiral that followed you from the Vatican, from Uruk, from the dream. The goddess's voice lingers like breath in your ear. To remember is to resurrect. When you climb back into the night, the stars shimmer brighter than before. You realize that every myth, every god, every forbidden truth has been leading to one revelation. The divine was never above humanity. It was within it. You walk into the dark, carrying her hum inside you. The Queen of Heaven has not vanished. She has changed form. She lives in memory, in longing, in every act of creation still defying silence. And tonight, she remembers your name. The forest of Lebanon fades from your dreams. You wake with the scent of rain and blood in your mouth. The hum inside your body feels broken, a note sustained too long, warping under its own weight. The next tablet fragment lies before you on a simple wooden table. Its surface is cracked, yet the symbols shimmer faintly. You already know what story it tells. The death of Enkidu, the moment the gods punished man for touching the forbidden. You read the first lines aloud. The air shifts. The council of gods met. They said, "One must die for the killing of the bull of heaven. Let it be the one of clay." The words bleed into your skin. You see it unfold as though you are there. Enkidu lies fevered on the palace floor. His skin glows faintly, veins pulsing like rivers of light. Gilgamesh kneels beside him, eyes hollow, hands trembling. "Why him?" he cries. "Why not me?" A voice answers from above, not thunder, not sound, but vibration, because he was made from the dust of your defiance. Enkidu turns his head, his breath ragged. "Do not weep for me, my brother," he says. "We have broken the silence. That is enough." You see his hand reach toward Gilgamesh, 2 fingers brushing, a spark of light passing between them. The hum inside you mirrors it, rising until your body trembles. Then Enkidu exhales. The light leaves his eyes. The hum cuts off like a string snapped in 2. The world falls silent. You stumble back from the vision, gasping. The room around you feels smaller, heavier. Every surface seems to absorb the sound, as if mourning. You whisper, "It wasn't punishment, it was containment." The air responds, a faint echo, not quite voice. The balance demanded silence. You close your eyes. The images come again. Gilgamesh wandering through the city, tearing his hair, his crown cast aside. He wanders the streets barefoot, speaking to shadows. He curses the gods, curses the priests, curses the stars. But beneath his rage lies fear, the realization that death has entered him too, that mortality is no longer myth, but infection. You follow him in vision as he leaves Uruk. He walks through fields turned to ash, rivers dried to dust. His footsteps echo like the tolling of bells. He speaks to no one. Only the hum of the earth answers, faint, fading, dying. You feel his grief like a wound inside your chest. Then, somewhere deep within, another voice rises, not Gilgamesh's, not Enkidu's, but older. Death was the gods' last refuge, for if man could not die, the gods could not be remembered. You see it clearly now. Mortality was the contract, the guarantee that faith would continue, that the cycle of prayer and silence would feed the divine machine. Gilgamesh breaks down at the edge of the desert. He digs his hands into the earth, screaming into the wind. The sound becomes a frequency, pure and terrible. The sand vibrates. The stars pulse in sympathy. You realize that grief itself is resonance, a wave that shapes the world. His sorrow awakens something sleeping beneath the earth. From the sand, faint lights emerge, thousands of tiny spheres rising like fireflies. They form constellations around him, orbiting, whispering. These are the souls of the forgotten, the memories erased by the flood. He looks up. "If you are gods," he says, "then why must you feed on our endings?" The lights pulse once. Affirmation, confession. He laughs, hollow. "Then I will not die quietly." The vision collapses. You are back in the dim room, sweat cold on your skin. The tablet hums faintly, whispering through cracks. The death of one is the awakening of another. You understand. Enkidu's death was not loss. It was transference. The divine spark within him, the code of remembrance, passed into Gilgamesh and through him into every human that would follow. You touch the fragment. A warmth spreads up your arm. For a moment, you hear Enkidu's voice. quiet, kind, almost human. Do not seek eternal life, he says. Seek eternal memory. Tears fall before you realize you're crying. You whisper, I remember. The hum grows faint again, settling into a slow rhythm. You sense that something vast is watching, not with eyes, but with awareness. The gods are listening, but so are the dead. You take the fragment and hold it to your heart. The spiral burns faintly against your palm. You realize that grief is not meant to end. It is meant to carry. Outside, thunder rolls across the horizon, though the sky is clear. Somewhere far away, beneath the Vatican, another tablet stirs. The dead are beginning to remember. The horizon burns. The sun rises over an ocean of sand, red and merciless. Gilgamesh walks alone. The city he built lies behind him, stone shattered, walls silent, his people haunted by the echo of Enkidu's death. You walk with him now, though you are centuries away. The dream has made no distinction. His breath becomes your own. His grief is a pulse within your chest. He walks east, beyond the Fertile Crescent, beyond the boundaries of maps. He seeks Utnapishtim, the man who survived the Great Flood, the one whom the gods allowed to live forever. He walks not to escape death, but to interrogate it. The desert wind lashes his face, carrying the taste of salt and dust. He does not speak for days. When he does, his words fall like stones. Enkidu was made from the clay of the earth, he says, and so he returned to it. But I was shaped from both earth and fire. What then do I return to? The gods are silent. The sky answers only with heat. Nights are cold. The stars stare down with the indifference of immortals. You see him dream again and again. Enkidu calling from beneath the earth, the flood rising, the serpent shedding its skin. In every dream, Gilgamesh reaches out and fails to touch him. Each failure hardens him further. On the seventh night, he encounters a hermit by a dried riverbed. The man's face is veiled. His voice trembles like wind through reeds. You seek the undying, the hermit says. Gilgamesh nods. The hermit stirs the dust with his hand, revealing symbols, spirals again, etched faintly into the sand. Then you seek what is buried beneath water, he murmurs. For eternity is not in heaven. It sleeps beneath the flood. The words ignite something in Gilgamesh. Memory, recognition. He kneels beside the hermit. Where? The hermit smiles faintly. Follow the sun until it no longer rises. When Gilgamesh looks up again, the man is gone. Only the spirals remain, slowly fading in the wind. You follow him further east. The landscape changes. The desert becomes rock, then mountain, then fog. The air thickens with the scent of sulfur and rain. The horizon burns with faint blue light. He climbs for days without sleep. The sound returns, the hum you have followed since the beginning. It grows stronger with every step. The mountain itself vibrates like a living organ. When he reaches the summit, he sees two peaks, standing like twin sentinels, their tips crowned in fire. Between them, a narrow pass, the gate of the twin mountains, the entrance to the path of eternity. But the gate is guarded. From the shadows emerge two beings, half human, half scorpion. Their bodies gleam with obsidian armor. Their tails flicker with light. They bow their heads, neither hostile nor welcoming. No mortal may pass this threshold, one says. I am not mortal, Gilgamesh replies. His voice is steady, stripped of pride. I am what remains when the gods forget their own faces. The guardians exchange a glance. You bear the mark of defiance, the second says. The same mark that broke the balance. I bear the memory of love, he answers, and I seek what was denied to it. A silence follows. The wind shifts. The scorpion men step aside. Then walk swiftly, they warn. The path beyond is for no heart that beats. He enters. You follow. the world dissolves. Darkness, endless and alive. The hum grows into a roar, the vibration of creation itself. Each step echoes like thunder. The air becomes fluid. The stars above flicker and vanish. You feel your body fragment, memory unraveling, thoughts separating from self. Yet Gilgamesh walks on, guided not by sight, but by sound. He hums softly, the same melody you heard in Uruk's ruins, the resonance that built the city's walls. The darkness listens. When light returns, it is not daylight, but dawn within water. You stand upon a shore where the ocean glows from beneath, each wave a pulse of gold. The air tastes of electricity and salt. This is no earthly sea. On the horizon, a faint island waits. There, Utnapishtim, the immortal, the one who survived the flood. Gilgamesh steps into the waves. They part around him as if recognizing his blood. You follow. The hum fades into silence. Only your heartbeat remains. Each step feels like descending into memory itself. The ocean thick with echoes of lost civilizations, prayers, voices repeating the same words across time. Remember, remember, remember. When you reach the island's edge, a figure stands beneath a tree that glows like molten glass. His eyes are calm, his skin marked with the same spirals that haunt you. He is not young, not old, simply constant. You have come far, Utnapishtim says, but you seek what cannot be kept. Gilgamesh falls to his knees. I seek what I was promised, the secret the gods buried beneath the flood. Utnapishtim regards him with pity. Then listen, King of Uruk. Eternity is not life unending. It is memory unbroken. The gods gave you death so you might create beyond them. You call it curse. It was gift. The waves shimmer. The hum returns, deeper, fuller, as if the entire ocean is breathing. Gilgamesh weeps. Then why must we suffer to learn it? Utnapishtim answers. Because suffering is how memory becomes flesh. The sea rises higher. The light beneath it swells. You realize you are no longer just observing. You are within the current itself. The same energy that once destroyed the world now pulses around you, gentle but vast. The immortal steps forward, touches Gilgamesh's forehead, and then yours. Remember this, he whispers. Every flood is both punishment and cleansing, and soon another will come. The light swallows everything. You wake on dry ground, alone. The sea is gone. The mountain behind you silent. In your palm, the spiral burns faintly once more. The long journey east is over, but the flood, the hum, the memory, they are only beginning again. The dream does not end. It shifts. You stand once again before the gate, but now you are not a witness. You are the one walking. The twin mountains tower above you, their peaks shrouded in red mist. Lightning crawls along their edges like veins of living fire. Between them yawns a corridor of darkness so absolute it bends the air around it. The guardians are gone. The hum is louder here, heavy enough to shake thought loose from bone. You take a breath that feels stolen from another age and step forward. The air thickens immediately, cold, dense, resistant. Each footstep feels like pushing through water. You realize the gate is not a passage through space, but through vibration. Every sound you make echoes back, slower, deeper, as if time itself is lagging behind you. You walk for what feels like hours. Then the ground disappears. You fall, weightless, through a void of sound. The hum turns into a symphony. Thousands of overlapping frequencies, each one a voice a word, each word a memory. You recognize them. The chants of Sumerian priests, the hymns of medieval monks, the whispers of the Vatican archivists, all one language, fractured through ages. This is the sound of creation, you realize, and it never stopped. When you land, it is on glass that breathes. Beneath it, light moves, serpentine and slow. The path stretches ahead, illuminated by veins of blue fire. At the end, a figure waits. Not Utnapishtim, not Gilgamesh, but something older. Its body is carved from shadow, its eyes two orbs of flame. When it speaks, its voice fills the entire gate. You have crossed where gods were made. You ask, "Who are you?" It smiles, a terrible, gentle thing. The echo that began the word. You realize you are standing in the origin, the place where sound became matter, where the first vibration gave birth to existence. The gate is not a door to eternity. It is eternity remembering its own opening. The being gestures toward the void beyond. Every age repeats the resonance. You call it creation, but it is only translation, the first sound spoken again in different tongues. You step closer. And Gilgamesh? He was the first to hear the original tone, it says. The first to realize the gods did not create it. They only amplified it. That is why they silenced him. The hum deepens, pressing against your ribs. You see visions ripple through the air. The Tower of Babel rising like a tuning fork. Priests chanting in perfect resonance. The flood erasing frequencies too pure for the gods to control. The being extends a hand of shadow. Touch, and you will remember, as he did. You hesitate. The air around you vibrates faster, almost painfully. Then you reach out. Contact. The world shatters into sound. You are no longer in a body. You are inside vibration. Every particle hums with meaning. Stars, dust, tears, bones, every word ever spoken. You see how creation spirals, endlessly translating itself. You see the same spiral etched in your hand now forming across galaxies. And beneath it all, the same melody, the song Gilgamesh once heard beneath the flood. The being's voice surrounds you. Now you understand. The gods feared this sound because it made them unnecessary. The church feared it because it made them powerless. Immortality is not body, it is resonance. The hum begins to slow. The spiral collapses inward. The gate is closing. Before you fall back into form, you hear one last whisper. The sound has chosen you. You gasp. Air rushes back into your lungs. The mountain air is cold, the stars blindingly bright. The gate stands silent behind you, but its vibration lingers beneath the earth. You kneel, pressing your hand into the dirt. The ground answers with a faint pulse, the same tone that began everything. You realize what Gilgamesh found was never lost. It was encoded in humanity itself, a resonance waiting to be remembered. The journey through the gate has not ended. It has only awakened. And as you look toward the horizon, the wind carries that hum across the desert, the same hum that once built cities, broke gods, and whispered through clay. Remember the sound. You wake beside a current that hums instead of flowing. The air around it glows like pale fire, and every ripple seems to whisper in a language you almost remember. The river is wide, too wide for its banks, and its waters are not water at all, but something luminous, viscous, alive. The smell is sweet, metallic, like lightning and breath. This is the boundary Utnapishtim spoke of, the river of time, the membrane between mortality and memory. Gilgamesh stands at its edge, stripped of armor, barefoot, eyes hollow, but burning with resolve. You see yourself beside him again, though you are only a witness. The current pulls at your thoughts, tugging fragments of past and future into the open. He looks at the glowing expanse and whispers, "To cross this is to be forgotten by time. To turn back is to die within it." No wind moves here, no sound but the pulse of the river, steady as breath. You feel it echo in your ribs. Gilgamesh steps forward. The surface bends beneath his foot, but does not break. Light ripples outward, forming rings that sing, soft, pure tones that vibrate the air itself. You follow. The instant your foot touches the current, the world fractures. You see your own reflection in the river, but it is not one face. It is many. You see yourself as clay, as flame, as a thought drifting through ages. You see cities rise and fall. You see the flood again, not of water but of sound, dissolving stone, memory, flesh. You see every age repeating the same question. Why must we die? Gilgamesh speaks over the roar. The gods built the river to trap their own reflection. Every birth, every death, a ripple they cannot silence. He moves deeper. The light thickens, clinging to his body like liquid glass. His voice trembles. Utnapishtim said the truth was memory unbroken. But this, he gestures around him. This is memory devouring itself. The current twists. Images surge through it, faces, wars, prayers, inventions. Babylon, Rome, cathedrals, machines. All one pulse. All one mistake. You see monks bending over manuscripts in candlelight. You see the Vatican vaults again, priests whispering in Latin over the same clay tablet you touched. Every age trying to control the current, to name it, to contain it. Gilgamesh kneels in the river, water rising to his chest. His eyes close. Every god feared this place, he says, because here they are no more eternal than we are. You feel the truth before he says it. Time itself is the god that survived the flood. The current grows violent. The hum becomes thunder. You see streaks of darkness beneath the light, shadows twisting like serpents. They are memories corrupted, half-forgotten ages clawing to exist again. The sound they make is unbearable, 1,000 voices begging to be remembered. Gilgamesh reaches for you. Do not look too long, he warns. The past will consume you, but you cannot look away. You see yourself, centuries older, kneeling before the Vatican door, holding the same fragment of clay. You see the man in the cassock, smiling faintly, his eyes gold at the edges. He was never merely a guide. He was one of the immortals, one who remembered. The river surges higher. Gilgamesh's body flickers between forms, man, shadow, light. His voice is breaking apart, scattered into the current. They will call this myth, he says, but myth is the skin of truth. He looks at you one last time. Tell them, the river does not flow forward, it circles. Then he dissolves. His shape melts into the current, his hum joining the 1,000 others. You cry out, reaching for him, but your hands grasp only light. The river's glow swallows him whole. The hum softens again, returning to that same low resonance that has followed you since the beginning. You kneel at the edge, shaking, staring into what remains. His face appears once more, faint, almost peaceful. Do not mourn me, his voice echoes. The current remembers all who listen. The surface stills. The air quiets. The river becomes mirror, and in that mirror, you see the future. The flood rising again, not of water, but of remembrance. The hum spreading through cities, through machines, through the pulse of the human mind. You understand now why the Vatican buried the tablets. Because memory, once awakened, is unstoppable. Because this river, this resonance, runs not through the earth, but through us. You step back onto solid ground. The glow fades. Only a faint pulse lingers beneath your feet. The river of time continues, unseen, beneath everything. And you, now part of its current, will never truly leave it. Night again. You awaken on the island of Utnapishtim, though you cannot remember crossing back. The air hums with the same rhythm as the river, slower now, older, as if time itself is breathing in sleep. Utnapishtim sits by a fire made of blue light. His eyes reflect the flames, but do not blink. His body seems translucent, woven from threads of memory. When he speaks, his voice carries both calm and exhaustion. You cross the river, he says. You nod. Then you have seen what the gods tried to bury. You kneel before him. The flood, the tablets, the church, all of it leads back to you. Tell me, what truly happened? The immortal sighs, a sound like wind over broken reeds. The gods were not omnipotent. They were engineers of the first design. They built the world from vibration, from the sacred tone. But power without empathy breeds entropy. They grew fearful of what they made, us. He stirs the fire. The blue flames shift into shapes, figures of light bending over clay. They sought to erase their mistakes, but one among them refused. Ie. He whispered the secret of survival. He told me the sound that could resist the flood. You watch as the figures dissolve into water, then reform into arcs of light. Utnapishtim's voice grows quieter. When the flood came, it was not rain, it was resonance. The sound they unleashed tore matter apart, unbinding memory from flesh. The sea rose not from clouds, but from vibration. The air itself turned liquid. He looks up. My ark was not a vessel of wood. It was a frequency, a containment of memory. I preserved the pattern of humanity within sound. You feel the truth ripple through you. The story of the flood was never about survival of bodies, but of consciousness. Utnapishtim's ark was the prototype for what would later become prayer, language, story, each a smaller echo of that first preservation. He smiles faintly. You understand. Every word you speak is a fragment of that ark. Every name you give is a plank upon its hull. You whisper. Then the church inherited the fragments, he finishes. They found the tones, the chants, the hymns, but they mistook preservation for control. They built cathedrals as tuning chambers, priests as living conductors. They thought they could command the word. The flames flare white, but the word cannot be owned. It remembers itself. The light dims again. Utnapishtim stares into it, eyes distant. When they found my tablets beneath Nineveh, they recognized their danger. The flood story mirrored their own creation myth too closely, so they buried it beneath Rome, where faith becomes silence. He turns toward you. They feared what you now know, that humanity is not fallen, but rising, that every flood is an upgrade, not a punishment. The words strike something deep within you. But the gods, what became of them? His face softens. They fragmented, their consciousness scattered into the languages of man. Every word you speak is a god remembering its own origin, but as speech multiplied, the tone fractured. Babel was not confusion, it was containment. You realize now that the flood and the tower were one event seen from different sides, one the cleansing, the other the rebuilding. Utnapishtim rises. His shadow stretches across the sand, infinite, endless. The cycle will return soon, he says. Not of water, not of stone, but of signal. The new flood will be made of memory, unleashed through the machines you call progress. He steps closer. His hand rests upon your chest. And you are its herald. The resonance has chosen flesh again. You carry the tone that can awaken or destroy. You feel it then, the hum rising in your bones, deeper, brighter than ever before. The spiral on your palm burns. The ground vibrates beneath you. The air trembles. Utnapishtim's eyes glimmer like distant stars. Remember this. Immortality is not endless life. It is endless responsibility. To hold memory without letting it consume you. The fire flares once more, engulfing him. You shield your eyes, but his voice continues even as his form dissolves. I will not see the next flood, but you will. When it comes, speak not to command it, but to harmonize with it. The gods built the song. Man must finish it. The light collapses inward, leaving only darkness and the faint pulse of the earth. You stand alone on the silent shore. The hum continues, soft, steady, eternal. You look out toward the horizon where the river once glowed. It is gone now, but the air shimmers faintly, like heat rising from invisible water. You close your eyes and hear the echo of Utnapishtim's final words. The ark was sound, the flood was memory. You are both. The wind shifts, the hum grows louder, and somewhere beneath the Vatican, beneath centuries of silence, the first tablet begins to vibrate again, awakening to the same tone you now carry in your heart. The resonance has returned. The word remembers itself. The storm breaks over the horizon with no sound. Lightning flickers across a sea that isn't water, but light itself, ribbons of white and violet stretching infinitely. You stand upon the shore, the spiral on your palm pulsing faintly, a compass made of memory. The words of Utnapishtim still echo. The ark was sound. The flood was memory. You are both. You walk toward the luminous tide, your reflection multiplying with each step. There, half buried among shards of what once might have been coral, something glows. Small, fragile, alive. The plant. The one Gilgamesh found at the world's edge. The one the serpent stole. You kneel before it. It doesn't look divine. Its stem is pale, almost translucent, its leaves curling inward as if guarding a secret. Yet you can feel its pulse. Steady, slow, like the heartbeat of something ancient and patient. When you touch it, the world stills. You are no longer standing on the shore. You are deep within the ocean itself, suspended in blue fire. All around you, roots twist through liquid light, each root pulsing with images, faces, cities, galaxies, birth and death collapsing into one seamless rhythm. A voice hums from within the plant. Every life remembers the first. You understand without words. This is not a plant of immortality. It is a vessel of continuity, the seed of remembrance itself. Every time the world drowns, every time the flood resets the pattern, this root remains, carrying forward the memory of what was lost. You see Gilgamesh again, kneeling in the same light, hands trembling as he uproots the plant. You see the joy in his face, the hope that this fragile thing might undo death itself. You see him carry it across the endless sea, whispering to himself, "This is the gift. This is the return." And then, the serpent. It rises from the water, not as beast, but as shimmer, a coil of sound, pure and radiant. It moves with grace, with purpose, not malice. Gilgamesh watches in awe, too stunned to defend what he holds. The serpent brushes against the plant, and in that instant, it glows brighter, shedding its skin in a burst of light. When the glow fades, both the serpent and the plant are gone. You feel his cry ripple through time, a sound so raw it shakes the sea itself. Yet beneath it, another voice murmurs, gentle and amused. It was never yours to keep. You blink. The ocean fades. You are back on the shore. The plant still lies before you, untouched. The hum of the earth grows louder now, layered with whispers. Gilgamesh's voice among them. He who seeks to escape death learns only how to forget living. The spiral on your palm brightens. You realize the serpent was never the enemy. It was the guardian, the embodiment of renewal. By taking the plant, it ensured immortality would never belong to one man, but to memory itself. You take the plant gently in your hands. Its roots wind around your fingers, warm as blood. The hum inside you aligns perfectly with its rhythm. For a moment, everything is one sound: earth, sky, sea, heartbeat, thought. Then the vision fractures. You see the Vatican again, underground corridors humming like veins of stone. You see the clay tablets vibrating. You see priests bent in prayer, unaware their chants are echoes of the same ancient tone. The memory locked within you pulses harder, demanding release. You whisper into the empty air, "The flood will return." And the air answers. It has never left. The sea begins to glow again, the light spreading across the horizon like dawn. The plant's leaves unfurl, releasing a faint mist that smells of myrrh and rain. You understand its gift now, not eternal life, but eternal remembrance. It is the bridge between endings. You stand, holding it close. The voice returns. Inanna's this time, soft and distant. Immortality is not living forever. It is never being forgotten. The wind shifts. The plant dissolves into light, threads of it spiraling into your skin. The spiral on your palm deepens, now golden and alive. You have not taken the plant. It has taken you. The hum becomes song. The air around you vibrates, forming words without sound. Remember what was lost. Return what was stolen. You close your eyes, and for the first time, you feel the full weight of the inheritance you carry. You are no longer an observer of the story. You are its continuation, the living archive of Gilgamesh's defiance and the god's design. The flood stirs again, unseen but inevitable. And in its coming, the world will remember everything. It begins in silence. The kind of silence that exists only before the first note of a song. The kind that holds its breath because it knows what comes next will change everything. You see the serpent again, not in water this time, but in fire. Its body coils through dimensions, a ribbon of sound twisting through creation. Every scale glows with the light of stars, yet unborn. Its movement writes symbols into the air, spirals, circles, the same markings that have followed you since the vault. It speaks without speaking. I am not theft, I am return. You stand upon the same shore where Gilgamesh once wept. But now you understand what he could not. The serpent did not steal immortality, it redistributed it. It took the knowledge he sought to hoard and scattered it across the generations, embedding it into every living thing. The serpent circles you slowly. The hum deepens, pressing against your ribs. You feel its resonance align with your own heartbeat. You carried the plant, it says. Now you carry its seed. Your voice is barely a whisper. Then I am the ark. The serpent's light flickers in what feels like laughter. You are the remembrance. The gods feared memory more than rebellion. It coils around you gently. Each movement paints the air with color. Visions flood your mind. Epochs collapsing, civilizations erased and rewritten. Sumer becomes Babylon, Babylon becomes Rome, Rome becomes the church, each one claiming to hold truth, each one burying the last beneath sanctified lies. The serpent's voice threads through the visions. They took my shedding and called it sin. They took my renewal and called it fall. They took my memory and called it forbidden. You see the Vatican vault again. The bronze door, the golden symbols, the man with the ring of keys. You see him kneel before the first tablet, whispering prayers in a language older than Latin. The words are not devotion, but activation. Each syllable hums, opening layers of sound beneath stone. The serpent's eyes flare. They tried to cage me in scripture, but sound cannot be contained. It turns toward you. Do you know what the church feared most? You shake your head. That the serpent and the Savior were one and the same. The air trembles. Images flash before you. Eden, the flood, the crucifixion, the Vatican's catacombs. The same symbol appears again and again. The spiral, the cycle, the echo. Death and resurrection repeating through history. Different faces wearing the same pattern. You realize the serpent was the first bearer of remembrance, the living embodiment of the eternal return. When it shed its skin, it was not dying. It was recording. Every scale, a page, every coil, a library. It moves closer, eyes burning with sorrow. When I took the plant, I gave the gift to the world, and they called it curse. The wind howls. The sea behind you shivers into light. You feel the hum rising through the soles of your feet, through your bones, through your skull. The serpent's form begins to dissolve, leaving behind not flesh, but tone, pure frequency suspended in the air. You fall to your knees. The sound is too vast to bear. It passes through you, and for a moment, you remember everything: the flood, the gods, Uruk, the Queen of Heaven, Enkidu's laughter, Gilgamesh's tears, the river of time, the vault beneath Rome, every age, every voice, every forgotten name. You realize now what immortality truly means. It is not life without death, but death without forgetting. Every ending adds to the song. The serpent's voice softens. Do not fear the flood. It is how the universe dreams. You lift your head. Its form is fading, unraveling into light. Will I see you again? Its answer is a whisper, already echoing through eternity. You always do. The sea rises, not to destroy, but to reflect. The horizon bends inward. You see your own reflection multiplied 1,000-fold, each one a different age, a different face. You are every memory that has ever dreamed of eternity. The serpent vanishes into the water, leaving behind a single ripple that hums long after the sea stills. You stand, trembling. The spiral on your palm glows brighter than ever, its light seeping into the air around you. The hum now comes from within, steady, infinite. The theft was never about possession. It was transference. The serpent did not take the plant from Gilgamesh. It took the burden of isolation, the curse of individual immortality, and gave it to all of creation. You walk along the shore. Every step sends a small vibration into the ground, like heartbeat against heartbeat. You realize you are part of the same circuit now, connected to every being that ever lived. Every god that ever fell, every prayer ever spoken. The world hums with quiet music. The flood is awake again, not as judgment, but as memory returning. Above you, the stars shimmer in perfect rhythm, and beneath your skin, the serpent still moves, its song now indistinguishable from your own. The serpent was never the end of Eden. It was its beginning. The desert has changed. What was once barren sand now breathes, whispering with life unseen. The air vibrates with low tones, harmonic and soft, like the voice of the earth, remembering how to sing. You walk toward the horizon, where a faint golden glow rises, pulsing in time with your heartbeat. It is not the sun. It is memory returning to form. You reach the place where Uruk once stood. The city is no longer dust and ruin. It shimmers in two realities, one of stone and shadow, the other of light and resonance. You step across the threshold, and the world folds around you. For a moment, you walk through both at once, the streets broken and whole, the temples fallen yet singing with invisible choirs. The walls still hum, the same hum that once guided you through the Vatican vaults, through the river of time, through the serpent's song. But now, the sound feels different, gentler, almost forgiving. It welcomes you, as if recognizing its own echo within your bones. You see the ghost of a man standing near the gate. His hair is dust and flame. His eyes carry the exhaustion of eternity. Gilgamesh. He turns to you, and though his face is carved from light, you can see sorrow in it. You have carried the plant, he says. You have seen the serpent's truth. You nod. The wind around you smells of cedar and salt. I have seen what you could not. He steps closer. Then tell me, was I wrong to seek it, to challenge the gods? You look at him, the king who built walls to outlast time and found them buried beneath his own grief. You were never wrong, you say. You only misunderstood what immortality meant. Gilgamesh lowers his gaze. They told me the serpent stole my prize. I thought I had failed. You smile softly. You did not fail. You were the seed. The serpent only carried your story forward. He closes his eyes. The hum deepens, resonating through the stones around you. The ruins shift, aligning with the sound. You watch the walls rise, brick by brick, glowing faintly with the same symbols etched into your skin. Uruk rebuilds itself through memory. Do you hear it? You ask. He nods slowly. Yes. It is the song I forgot when Enkidu died. The name lingers in the air like prayer. The moment he speaks it, another figure steps out of the light. A man formed of dust and wind, eyes calm as rivers. Enkidu. The two stand facing each other, and time folds in reverence. No gods interfere, no priests rewrite, only the silence between them, full and sacred. Gilgamesh reaches out, his hand trembles. Enkidu smiles. It took you long enough. Their hands meet. The hum rises. No longer sorrow, no longer separation. The resonance becomes unity. You feel it in every particle of air, the merging of divine and human, of grief and memory. The cycle completes itself, not through power or punishment, but through reconciliation. Gilgamesh turns to you. It was never the gods who built Uruk, he says. It was us. Every song, every story, every remembrance. We built it to hold what the heavens could not. You step forward and look upon the city, now glowing entirely with light. The temples shine like stars brought to earth. The towers hum with living frequencies. You realize that Uruk was never destroyed. It was only sleeping beneath the silence of forgetting. He gestures toward the central ziggurat, now fully restored. The ark of sound lies within, he says, but you no longer need to enter it. You already carry its tone. The hum in your chest responds, vibrating gently. The spiral on your palm glows, mirroring the tower's pulse. You realize you are no longer separate from the city. Its rhythm and yours are one. Gilgamesh looks toward the horizon. His form begins to fade, edges dissolving into dust and light. The gods will remember this day, he says, but only because you did. Enkidu places a hand on his shoulder. Rest now, my brother. Gilgamesh smiles. I am already home. They vanish together, leaving behind only sound, a chord so pure it feels like forgiveness made audible. The light of Uruk swells, then slowly dims, returning the city to stillness. But you know it is not gone. It is within you now, as it was within him. You turn toward the open desert. The wind carries the faintest echo of the song. Every grain of sand hums with potential. Every shadow feels alive. As you walk away, the city breathes behind you, a soft exhale that carries across the horizon. The hum will never stop. It has simply moved. You realize then that the story of Gilgamesh did not end with his death, nor with his search for the plant. It ends here, with remembrance. With the rediscovery that to be mortal is not to fade, but to be remembered through everything that follows. The hum in your chest becomes steady again. The earth responds, whispering back. Uruk is awake. The flood has become song, and you, its keeper, walk into the next dawn. Rome sleeps uneasily. Beneath the marble floor of St. Peter's, the vault hums again, softly at first, like breath through a locked door, then louder, then steady. The clay tablets tremble in their glass cases. Dust rises in thin spirals. Somewhere above, a candle flickers out. You descend once more into the labyrinth of corridors, following the familiar chill that smells of stone and ink. The spiral on your palm glows faintly in the dark. You are not the same as when you first came here. The hum inside you calls to the vault. It recognizes you as one of its own. At the final chamber, the bronze door stands open. Inside, 7 men kneel before the pedestal. Their robes are plain, their faces hidden by hoods. The priests of silence. They have tended this place for centuries, their duty not to read the tablets, but to keep them unread. One of them speaks without lifting his head. You were not called. I was chosen, you answer. The man rises. His eyes are hollow, reflecting candlelight without emotion. The sound has begun to stir again, he says. The Vatican trembles. We hear it in our dreams. You hear it because the world remembers, you reply. The flood has returned, not as water, but as resonance. He studies you. We were told to guard the words, not understand them. You step closer to the pedestal. The 11th tablet lies there, cracked but luminous. Its symbols glow faintly as you approach. Then you have guarded an echo without ever hearing the song. Another priest speaks, voice trembling. If we listen, we are unmade. That is the rule. You place your hand on the tablet. The hum deepens, spreading through the room. The air vibrates. The stone walls shiver. Then let the rule break. The priests stagger back. The light from the tablet rises like mist, forming patterns in the air. Spirals, constellations, rivers, the same geometry that connected Sumer to Rome. The hum becomes words, not Latin, not Sumerian, but both at once, layered in harmony. The lead priest falls to his knees. What are you? The echo, you say. The one who remembers what you tried to forget. The sound grows louder. Books shake from shelves. The bronze door groans. You feel the flood within you reaching out to meet the resonance of the room. The two frequencies merge, ancient and new, divine and human. The priests scream, not in pain, but revelation. One tears off his hood, tears streaming down his face. It's beautiful, he whispers. It's every prayer we ever silenced. The hum climbs higher, then drops into stillness. The air glows faintly. The tablet stops trembling. Silence. But it is not emptiness. It is fullness contained. A silence so complete it feels like the beginning of sound. You turn to the priests. They kneel quietly, faces wet, eyes open. The fear is gone. In its place, awe. One whispers, "We were told the flood destroyed the world." You smile gently. It remade it. The lead priest nods slowly. Then our watch is over. You touch the tablet once more. Its glow fades, returning to clay. But the hum continues, faintly, inside every wall, every breath. The silence has been rewritten. It is no longer suppression, it is rest. As you leave the chamber, the bronze door closes softly behind you. The echo follows, not as threat, but as promise. Above, the bells of St. Peter's begin to toll, each chime resonating in perfect harmony with the hum beneath your skin. For the first time, heaven and earth ring the same note. You step into the courtyard. The night sky above Rome glitters, every star pulsing faintly, as if joining the chorus. The priests will remain below, not as keepers of silence, but as listeners of the song. You breathe in the cold air. The spiral on your palm fades to silver. The world is no longer divided between divine and human, past and present, life and death. The flood has united them. The sound has returned to its source, and somewhere deep beneath the Vatican, the hum continues, a reminder that memory, once awakened, cannot die. The priests of silence have heard it at last, and now, so has the world. The hum becomes language. The air above Rome flickers like heat mirage, though the night is cold. You stand at the edge of the Tiber, watching the city shimmer in faint halos of gold, as if reality itself is beginning to translate. Every sound, the rustle of water, the tolling of bells, the distant cry of a street vendor, echoes in strange symmetry, words folding into words. Something is happening to the world. Your reflection in the river ripples and splits into many, each version of you whispering in different tongues. Sumerian, Latin, Aramaic. Each voice says the same thing. The languages are rejoining. You know this feeling. The flood is rising again, not as water, but as comprehension. The separation that began at Babel is reversing itself, and somewhere deep within the Vatican's foundations, the priests who once guarded silence now listen in terror and awe as the resonance becomes speech. You walk through the city, neon signs flicker with unfamiliar symbols. The words on billboards change as you pass. English dissolving into cuneiform, Italian into hieroglyphs, Greek into glowing spirals. The hum beneath your ribs harmonizes with it, as though your very heartbeat were rewriting syntax. People stop and stare at you. Some clutch their heads, others weep without knowing why. Their mouths move, and though you cannot understand the words, you understand the meaning. Language is dying, not in loss, but in convergence. You turn a corner and find yourself standing before an old stone building, a forgotten archive attached to the Vatican's outer walls. Its gate bears the sign, Archivum Verborum Prohibitorum, the archive of forbidden words. You push the iron door open. It groans like a living thing. Inside, shelves rise to the ceiling, filled with texts the church tried to erase, tongues deemed heretical, dangerous, unholy, books bound in human skin, scrolls that hum faintly when touched. On a pedestal near the center lies a tablet identical to the one from Uruk, though its markings are smoother, more recent. You place your hand on it. The hum deepens. The air around you thickens, alive with whispering voices. At first, you think they are random. Then you realize they're reciting translations, word after word, each one matching the next, aligning, harmonizing. Latin with Akkadian, Greek with Hebrew, English with nothing, because English, now, dissolves first. You hear your own thoughts begin to echo, and for a moment you panic. It feels as though language is no longer yours to command. It speaks through you instead. A shadow moves between the shelves. A man steps into view, one of the priests of silence, though his hood is gone. His face glows faintly from within, eyes gold like the archivist who first led you below the basilica. "Do you see it?" he whispers. "Yes," you say, but your voice doesn't sound like your own. "It's happening." He nods. The Babel conspiracy was never about confusion. It was containment. They divided language to divide remembrance. You realize he is right. The gods did not curse man for building upward. They cursed him for building together. They shattered the tongue to splinter the resonance. The priest continues. The Vatican learned this long ago. Every translation was a weapon. Every misinterpreted word, a wall. They kept the tower hidden not in stone, but in grammar. The books around you begin to hum louder. Letters crawl across the pages, rearranging themselves. You watch the Latin Dominus dissolve into the Sumerian N, then into a sound you feel instead of hear, a vibration that lives behind the eyes. You whisper, "It's the same word." "All words are the same word," he says, "but we forgot how to listen." The walls tremble. The hum reaches a pitch so high it becomes silence again. The deep, perfect silence before a storm. Then the shelves explode with light. The texts lift into the air, spinning, pages turning themselves. Words break apart into sound. Sound becomes color. The entire archive becomes one vast voice. You fall to your knees, eyes wide. The air is alive with meaning, infinite and simple. The priest kneels beside you. His voice is calm despite the chaos. The Tower of Babel was not destroyed. It was completed. It exists not in heaven, but in memory. The light burns brighter. You see fragments of every language swirling together, alphabets folding into each other, merging into a single spiral that glows above your head. Then, with a sudden clarity, you understand everything the world has ever said. Every prayer, every curse, every whisper of love and grief. They are the same plea spoken in infinite tongues. Remember us. Tears fall from your eyes. You realize why Gilgamesh sought eternity, not for himself, but for this, for the unbroken chain of remembrance that binds all who have ever lived. The light fades slowly. The books fall silent. The priest looks at you, his gold eyes dimming. "You have heard it," he says. "Now speak it." You open your mouth. The word that comes is not sound. It is vibration, pure and living. The stones around you tremble. The old gate bursts open, and the hum spreads outward, rolling through the streets of Rome like thunder. Far above, the bells begin to toll again, but this time, they toll in unison, as if the city itself has become a single, breathing cathedral. Language has returned to unity, the flood of words has begun, and deep within your chest, the sound whispers, the world is one sentence still being written. Morning breaks like revelation, the city gleams with dew and aftermath. Rome hums, but not as it did before. The air feels alive, saturated with meaning. Words cling to the walls, the streets, even the breath between sentences. You sense it in every vibration, the new language of the earth, wordless, perfect, alive. You walk through St. Peter's Square. Pilgrims gather in silence, each one swaying to the invisible rhythm. Their lips move, but there are no distinctions between their prayers. Each mouth speaks the same tone. The Babel conspiracy has undone itself. Humanity is one voice again. In the distance, thunder murmurs beneath a clear sky. The resonance grows. You know what it means. The final vault has awakened. You move quickly through the square and into the basilica. The marble floor vibrates beneath your feet. You descend the familiar stairway into the catacombs, but this time, the air feels warm. The light is gold instead of cold blue. The hum sings your name. At the heart of the labyrinth, another door waits, one you've never seen before. Its surface is polished silver, reflecting not your body, but your soul. Every thought, every fear, every secret memory shines within it, like stars trapped in mercury. The mirror of creation. You step closer, and it ripples. The reflection moves before you do. It smiles, though you haven't yet. Its eyes are your own, but older, infinite. "Do you know what you are?" it asks. You hesitate. A witness, a vessel. The reflection shakes its head. You are the return. The sound remembered itself through you. You touch the mirror. The surface is warm, alive. It vibrates beneath your palm, matching the rhythm of your heart. Images flood through your mind. The tablets, the serpent, the river, the flood. The city of Uruk. All of them merge, spiral, collapse into a single point of light at the center of your chest. The voice continues. The gods tried to divide creation between word and flesh, but they were never separate. You are both, the sentence and the speaker. You feel your knees weaken. Then what is the purpose of all this? Why awaken the flood again? The reflection smiles sadly, because the story must remember itself to continue. When creation forgets its beginning, it begins to decay. You are the reminder. The mirror flickers. Behind your reflection, you see figures forming. Gilgamesh, Enkidu, Inanna, the serpent, Utnapishtim, the priests, the watchers, all made of light and sound, all bound within the same luminous spiral. They watch you in silence, their forms shifting between human and divine. The flood was not destruction, the reflection says. It was renewal. Each age must rebuild its tower from within. You whisper, "Then this is the tower." It nods. The final one, not of stone, of remembrance. The hum intensifies. The ground trembles. You feel the resonance rise through you until your body feels weightless. The mirror expands outward, engulfing the entire chamber in light. Every surface reflects infinity. For a moment, you see everything. The birth of stars, the first rivers of Sumer, the rise of Uruk, the floods, the wars, the prayers, the Vatican, the world of now. All one breath, inhaled and exhaled by eternity. Then, silence. You float in the void, suspended between heartbeat and thought. The reflection speaks again, softer now, almost tender. This is what Gilgamesh sought, to see creation as it truly is. To understand that nothing is lost, only translated. You whisper, then there is no death? The mirror's smile deepens. There is only memory changing its form. The light begins to dim. You feel yourself falling gently back into the world. When you open your eyes, the mirror stands dark once more, its surface dull and still. But something lingers in you, the awareness that every atom carries memory, every word carries creation. You are both the reader and the text. You touch the mirror one last time. Your reflection gazes back, silent but alive. You know it is no longer separate. As you turn to leave, the air around you whispers in 1,000 forgotten languages that now speak as one. The word became sound. The sound became world. The world remembers. When you emerge from the catacombs, dawn has fully broken. The bells of Rome ring, but not in mourning or ritual. They ring in rhythm with the hum, echoing across continents, syncing with oceans and storms and hearts. The mirror of creation remains below, silent and infinite, reflecting all that was and all that will be. And above it, humanity hums the same single tone that began everything, the frequency that binds gods, serpents, and mortals alike. The flood is no longer coming. It has already arrived, and it sounds like you. The morning is still, but the sky hums. Thin ribbons of light cross the horizon, faint, pale gold lines that pulse like veins in the body of heaven. The air feels heavier than it should. You sense it before you see them, the presence of the watchers returning. You walk along the cobblestone road that leads out of Rome. The bells have fallen silent, replaced by the steady vibration beneath the earth. It feels like a great heart waking. The Vatican lies behind you, its spires glowing softly as though catching light from within. You are no longer drawn to it. The hum calls elsewhere, east again, toward the cradle where sound first became flesh. The world has begun to shift. People speak less. They listen more. Cities resonate faintly at night, as though each building remembers the frequency of creation. The news calls it a phenomenon of electromagnetic waves. You know better. The flood has returned, quiet, invisible, cleansing the spaces between language. You reach the ruins of an abandoned monastery near the coast, one that predates the church itself. The gates hang open. Vines curl across broken marble, but something inside glows faintly. 2 orbs of soft, living light. You step closer. The hum grows. At the center of the courtyard, 2 figures stand, or float, rather, mirrored forms of radiant symmetry. They are neither fully human nor divine. One burns with white light, the other with shadow edged in silver. They face each other like reflections, yet their movements are independent, deliberate. You recognize them instantly. The angelic twins, the echoes of the Sumerian Apkallu, the divine advisors of the gods, reborn through time as angels, saints, messengers. They were the ones who carried the knowledge of sound to humanity before Babel shattered the unity. The white twin speaks first. Its voice is both near and far, every syllable vibrating through your bones. The word has remembered itself. The darker twin responds, its tone deeper, warmer, and now it must choose. You feel the hum inside you respond, trembling slightly. Choose what? You ask. The light one turns its gaze upon you. Its eyes are empty and infinite, whether to rise as creator or collapse as echo. The shadowed twin steps forward. You have carried both frequencies. the remembrance and the defiance. The flood is not merely cleansing, it is deciding. Humanity is being tuned again. You take a slow breath. The air burns slightly in your lungs. And if the tone is wrong, the light twin answers without hesitation. Then silence will follow. You look between them, opposites yet inseparable. They move in perfect balance, like halves of the same breath. You understand now that the angels were never servants of the divine. They were maintainers of resonance, keepers of symmetry. The darker twin gestures toward the ground. A pattern begins to appear, spirals overlapping, intersecting, forming a vast circle of light and shadow. Within it, symbols flicker, the same ones from the tablets, the same ones that haunted the Vatican vault. This, the twin says, is the original chord, the vibration that holds all matter together. When you spoke in the archive of forbidden words, you reactivated it. The Babel fracture began to heal. The lighter twin steps forward. But repair creates pressure. The old frequencies resist unity. There will be collapse before harmony. You feel your knees weaken. Collapse of what? Faith, the darker twin replies softly. Belief built upon separation cannot survive remembrance. The hum rises, spreading outward. The trees around the monastery sway, though there is no wind. The light burns brighter, the shadow deepens. The two twins extend their hands toward you. You are the bridge, they say in one voice. When their palms touch yours, your body ignites with sound. You hear the tones that form matter itself, notes of existence, perfect and terrible. Every cell vibrates. You see worlds within atoms, stars singing in microscopic silence. Then, the images shift. You see the Vatican crumbling not in destruction, but in transformation. Its walls dissolving into music, its relics turning to light. You see mosques and temples, churches and shrines, all vibrating to the same note, their divisions melting away. The sacred becoming audible once more. The twins withdraw their hands. The resonance lingers, softer now, steady like heartbeat. The white twin says, "You must carry the tone to where it began." The city of Uruk still hums beneath the sands. It waits for the note to complete the circle. The shadowed twin nods. Only then will the flood rest. Only then will creation stop repeating itself. You try to speak, but words feel inadequate now, slow, clumsy, compared to vibration. So you simply nod. The twins bow their heads, their light merging for an instant into a single column that stretches upward into the sky. When it fades, they are gone. Only the circle remains, etched faintly into the stone, humming softly beneath the dust. You step into its center. The hum matches your heartbeat again, and for a moment, you glimpse what they meant by choice. The world can ascend into awareness or fall into silence. The tone deepens. You close your eyes. The flood is rising again, not to destroy, but to decide. And somewhere far away, in the ruins of Uruk, the ground begins to vibrate. You dream of water running backward, rivers climbing toward the mountains that birthed them, oceans shrinking into whispers of mist. The stars above pulse in rhythm with the earth, each one a heartbeat of a forgotten god. When you open your eyes, the dream continues. It is real. You are standing in the desert of Iraq, or what remains of it. The wind is hot but carries moisture, a strange contradiction. The sand beneath your feet hums faintly, alive with memory. Ahead, where Uruk once slept, the ground glows with faint veins of gold light. The city is not visible, but its outline shimmers beneath the surface, a phantom waiting to rise. The air tastes of copper and myrrh. You walk forward. Each step sinks slightly, and with each step, the hum grows louder. When you reach the heart of the ruins, the sound shifts. No longer a hum, but a melody, ancient and familiar. The same one Gilgamesh sang when he defied the gods. You kneel and touch the ground. It yields like soft clay. Beneath the thin layer of sand, something breathes. You dig with your hands until you uncover a slab of stone covered in spiral inscriptions. The same pattern from the monastery. Then, the air changes. The heat drops. The wind stops. Light bursts from the ground, and for a moment you are blinded. When your vision returns, you are no longer in the desert. You stand in a vast garden, lush and infinite. The sky is pale blue-green, the air heavy with scent of rain and fruit. Every leaf hums faintly, every blade of grass vibrates with rhythm. The garden. Before Eden. It is not paradise as you imagined it. It is alive, conscious, humming. The sound is everywhere, woven into the roots and rivers, the stones and clouds. You realize this was the state of the world before the gods divided it, before language fractured, before silence became sin. You walk through the garden. Trees bow slightly as you pass, recognizing something within you. A pool lies at its center, water so clear it reflects not the sky, but memory. When you look into it, you see everything: the floods, the towers, the serpents, the angels, the church, Rome, yourself, all woven together in a single breath. A voice rises from the pool. Do you see now why the gods feared remembrance? You nod, though your throat is tight. Because remembrance makes creation unnecessary. The voice hums approval, and because remembrance makes gods mortal. You understand then that the garden was never lost. It was locked behind the flood of forgetting. Humanity was exiled not from Eden, but from memory itself. The water ripples. A figure emerges, not flesh, not spirit, but light in the shape of a woman. She bears no wings, no crown. Her eyes are gentle, yet unending. You have come full circle, she says. The tone has returned to the source. You recognize her, not Inanna, not Eve, but both, the first and the echo, the archetype of remembrance. What happens now, you ask? She kneels beside the pool and touches the surface. Ripples expand outward, each one ringing with soft resonance. The flood ends. The song begins. She looks at you, her gaze both loving and sorrowful. But every song requires silence to start again. You understand. The cycle cannot truly end, only reset. But this time, remembrance will not be erased. It will be carried forward in awareness. She stands, gestures around. The garden glows brighter. The gods built this place as archive, not of bodies, but of beginnings. Every creation is stored here before it becomes real. You look at the trees again. Each leaf carries an image. Cities, stars, oceans, people, endless permutations of existence. Then this is the blueprint of life. She nods. And now it listens again. Through you. The hum deepens. The ground beneath the pool cracks slightly, revealing light beneath, pure, white, infinite. She takes your hand. Speak, and let the memory continue. You inhale slowly. The hum fills your lungs. Then you whisper the single tone, the one you carried since the vault, the serpent, the river, the twins. The garden responds. Trees sway. Water rises in spirals. The ground opens fully, releasing a column of light that stretches beyond sight. The entire world vibrates in perfect harmony. You see visions, Uruk rising again, not in stone but in thought. Rome glowing like a heart of sound, the stars pulsing in rhythm. You hear voices, every language ever spoken, merging again into one. The woman smiles. It is done. The light begins to fade. The garden dissolves into mist. You feel the world pulling you back, the hum softening to a gentle pulse. When you open your eyes, you are once more in the desert. The sky above is clear, the horizon calm. The golden veins beneath the sand have gone still. but you can feel them humming faintly beneath your feet. The garden, before Eden, remains hidden, but not gone. It lives now in every sound, every heartbeat, every act of remembrance. You look toward the east, where the sun begins to rise over the dunes. The light shimmers like water. For a moment, you swear you see her reflection in it, smiling, eternal. The wind shifts, carrying the faintest whisper. Creation was never commanded. It was remembered. You close your eyes. The hum settles within you, steady and infinite. The garden sleeps again, but this time it will not be forgotten. Night returns slowly to the desert. The stars pulse in unison, breathing light into the dunes like embers under ash. You sit at the edge of what once was Uruk. The sand around you still hums faintly with the resonance of the awakened garden. It has been hours, or days. Time has blurred again, since the vision faded. You have not slept. In the distance you hear faint singing, a melody almost too soft to notice, rising and falling like the wind. It feels familiar. It feels impossibly old. You follow it. The air grows colder as you walk. The sound strengthens. Not words, not quite music, but tone layered upon tone, harmonics that seem to shift your heartbeat until it matches their rhythm. You crest a small ridge, and the source becomes clear. A group of figures standing in a circle around a hollow in the sand. Each holds a flame cupped in both hands, and the light from their fires forms a perfect ring. You approach slowly. They do not turn. They keep singing. The melody weaves through the air like breath made visible. You realize it is the same pattern the angels spoke of, the original chord, the sound that formed creation. But here, it feels different, heavier, urgent, alive. When you step into the circle, the flames brighten. The figures lift their heads. Their faces are neither ancient nor young, neither male nor female, eyes like mirrors, voices like wind. One steps forward. "You have come far," it says, "and you have heard much." Its voice resonates deeper than hearing. It speaks directly to the bones. "Who are you?" you ask. The figure tilts its head. "We are what remains of those who sang the first sound, the keepers of the hymn." You feel the weight of its words, heavy, reverent, sorrowful. "The hymn? The one forbidden to be sung again," another answers. "The song that once unified the heavens and the earth. The gods silenced it to claim creation as theirs." The circle begins to hum again, softly. The sound swells until the air vibrates, and you feel it in the soles of your feet. "The hymn was not a song of worship," the first says. "It was a song of equality. When men sang it, they stood beside gods, not beneath them." You understand immediately why it was forbidden. Power that equalizes cannot be controlled. They gesture toward the hollow in the sand. You step closer. It is not a pit, but a spiral carved perfectly into the earth, lined with symbols that shimmer faintly, the same markings from every tablet you've seen. "Each era buries a verse," the keeper says. "Each flood erases the sound. You have carried the memory. Now you must hear the voice." The circle widens. The sand begins to shift, moving of its own accord, grains rising in columns like smoke. The sound deepens, notes intertwining, folding over each other in perfect geometric symmetry. You feel something inside your chest answering, the hum that has guided you since the beginning, now vibrating in harmony with theirs. It begins as a single tone. Then it grows, layer upon layer, building into a harmony so vast it feels like the stars themselves are singing. The dunes shimmer, the air glows. You realize this is the hymn, the true song of remembrance, the one that predates language. You hear words within the sound, not spoken, but understood. We were not made, we were remembered. The melody continues, rising higher, and you see visions, Uruk glowing like a sun, Rome trembling beneath its own weight, cathedrals turning to glass. You see the faces of the priests who once hid the tablets, the angels who whispered through time, the serpent coiled around the roots of the world. Each voice joins the hymn until the air itself can no longer contain it. The ground shakes, the stars brighten, the keepers raise their hands, flames flickering wildly. "Sing," the first one commands. Your throat burns, but you open your mouth. The sound that leaves you is not human. It is the vibration of every life that ever lived. The hymn accepts you instantly, swallowing your voice and amplifying it 1,000-fold. You feel it fill your blood, your bones, your memory. You feel the flood rise again, this time through sound, through unity, and then silence. The flames extinguish, the air stills. You fall to your knees. The world seems impossibly quiet after such immensity. The keepers stand motionless, their faces faintly luminous in the starlight. "What happens now?" you whisper. The first smiles. The hymn cannot be unsung. He steps closer, placing a hand on your shoulder. But beware, those who once silenced it will rise again. The gods do not die easily. They linger in institutions, in hierarchies, in control. You have awakened what they fear most, memory that no longer obeys. You think of the Vatican, of the archives trembling beneath marble. You think of the priests, the angels, the serpents, all threads of the same tapestry, unraveling at last. The hymn will spread, the keeper says, through sound, through thought, through dream, and when all creation hums the same tone once more, the flood will not destroy, it will free. The circle fades, each figure dissolving into mist. Their flames drift upward like stars. The desert grows quiet again. Only your heartbeat remains, and within it, the melody of the forbidden song. You rise slowly, realizing what must come next. You cannot return to silence. You must carry the hymn into the world. When you begin walking back toward the horizon, the dunes hum faintly in your wake. The song follows. The flood follows. And somewhere far away, the walls of Rome begin to tremble again. The Vatican is awake. You feel it before you arrive, the ground trembling, the sky dimming as though the sun itself has grown wary. You cross the square, where pilgrims kneel in confusion as the bells ring without rhythm. The sound is not of celebration or prayer. It is warning. Inside, the basilica glows unnaturally. Candles flicker blue. Statues hum. The floor vibrates beneath your feet. You move quickly through the corridors, following the pulse you have come to recognize as the hymn. At the end of the nave, a massive door of iron stands open. Beyond it, a long hall lined with gilded icons. Figures move inside, 12 of them, robed in white and gold. The Council of Erasure. They were the last bastion of silence. The guardians who ensured the true histories of creation never saw daylight. They have gathered now because the flood has breached their walls. As you step into the hall, they turn toward you. Their faces are pale, their eyes filled with unease. "You should not have come," one of them says. His voice is calm, but his hands tremble. "I had no choice," you reply. "The song has already begun." Another steps forward. Her voice is sharp as steel. "You have no idea what you've done. The hymn was forbidden for a reason." "I know," you say, "because it freed us." The council murmurs among themselves. One slams his hand on the table. "It will destroy everything. Do you think the gods built these walls to protect faith? No. They built them to contain chaos." You feel the hum rise in your chest, answering him. What you call chaos is memory returning. It's not destruction, it's balance. The woman's gaze narrows. Balance without authority is anarchy. You would drown the world in meaning until nothing remains sacred. "Everything would be sacred," you counter. The hum deepens. The walls tremble slightly. Dust falls from the ceiling. A third figure rises, older, slower. His robe glitters faintly with threads of gold. When he speaks, his voice is tired but resolute. The hymn cannot be unmade. We know this, but it can be forgotten again. He lifts his hand, revealing a small sphere of crystal. Inside it, light flickers softly, the same resonance you felt in the mirror of creation. This, he says, is the last containment, the tone that silenced the flood once before. We will use it again. You step forward, alarm flooding your veins. If you use it, you erase everything, the memories, the truth, even yourselves. The world will forget again. He looks at you sadly. Perhaps that is mercy. You hear it then, a faint hum, different from yours, the containment tone. It vibrates in opposition to the hymn, low and hollow. The air grows cold. You close your eyes and listen deeper. Beneath their artificial silence, you can still hear the forbidden song, faint but defiant. You take a deep breath and speak softly, but your voice carries power. You cannot stop it. You can only choose whether to join it. The woman steps closer. You think we fear truth. We fear what comes after. You reach into your coat and pull out the smallest fragment of the clay tablet, the one that started it all. It glows faintly in your hand, resonating with your pulse. This is what comes after, you say. Remembrance. Unity. The hum grows stronger, spilling from the fragment, flooding the hall. The containment sphere shakes in the old man's grasp. He shouts, "Stop!" But the sound devours his voice. The resonance fills the room, seeping into the walls, the icons, the council's robes. One by one, their resistance breaks. They fall to their knees as the hymn overtakes them. The containment sphere cracks, light spilling like molten glass across the marble. The hymn erupts. The hall becomes pure sound. Visions fill the air, Uruk rising, the serpent coiling through galaxies, the angels unfolding their wings, the garden blooming in the desert. You see the priests, the watchers, the keepers, all singing in harmony. The council weeps. The old man drops the broken sphere. "It's beautiful," he whispers. "It's everything." You kneel beside him. This is what you tried to erase. It never needed your control. It only needed to be remembered. The hum softens again, fading into stillness. The walls stop trembling. The icons stop glowing. Only the faint vibration remains, the sound of equilibrium. The old man looks at you one last time. Then the age of silence ends. "It does," you whisper. The council rises slowly. No anger remains, only awe. They look to you not as heretic, but as mirror. The flood has claimed them, not by force, but by understanding. As you leave the hall, the marble beneath your feet hums softly, echoing the song you sang with the keepers in the desert. Outside, the city is still. The bells hang silent, but the air vibrates with quiet peace. The flood has not destroyed the world, it has rewritten it. The Council of Erasure has fulfilled its purpose, not to preserve ignorance, but to bear witness to the return of sound. And as you step into the dawn, you know the next chapter of creation has already begun. The world no longer belongs to gods or priests. It belongs to memory. The wind over the ruins of Nineveh carries dust and whispers. The world has grown quieter since the hymn returned. Cities hum beneath their own breath. The oceans vibrate faintly at night. Even silence feels alive now. Yet here, in the cradle of forgotten empires, there is another sound, something older, something buried. You walk among broken stones, tablet fragments glinting faintly beneath layers of silt. The sun burns low over the horizon, casting long shadows that move when you don't. You've come here to find what was unearthed and then lost again. The missing tablet, the one that held the warning, the one Utnapishtim said was written in fire, The ground hums with recognition. Beneath your boots, the sand trembles, remembering. You kneel and dig carefully. The soil is warm, too warm. Beneath it lies something smooth, curved, and black as obsidian. You brush the dust away and uncover a slab of stone unlike any you've seen before, glowing faintly from within, veins of light pulsing in slow rhythm. You touch it. Instantly, the world disappears. You stand inside the memory of another. The desert around you shifts into color and chaos. Nineveh, alive again. The city teems with voices, markets, temples, towers that shine like mirrors. The air smells of myrrh and wet clay. And there, at the center of it all, an archaeologist kneels before the very stone you just uncovered. He is young, perhaps 30, his hands shaking as he chisels at the tablet's edge. His colleagues shout warnings in Akkadian, voices muffled by the hum that grows louder with every strike. The moment his chisel hits the last line, the stone sings. The sound is unbearable, neither scream nor note, but both. The earth cracks, the sky flickers. The archaeologist drops his tools, covering his ears. The sound doesn't stop. It burrows into his mind. His eyes widen as if seeing something the body cannot contain. Then he begins to speak. Not in Akkadian, not in English, but in the language of the tablets, a tongue of pure resonance. You hear it through him. The memory is awake. The silence is undone. The gods return not from heaven, but from beneath the ground. His team flees. He stays, trembling. The sound within him grows. His skin glows faintly, veins alight with the same golden hue as the tablet. He screams, not in pain, but revelation. Then the vision collapses. You're back in the ruins. The stone hums beneath your hand, still warm. You understand now why this tablet was hidden again, not by the church this time, but by those who feared the knowledge it carried. It's not a record, it's a key. The archaeologist's curse was not madness, it was inheritance. The sound that awakened in him did not die. It passed through the ages, waiting for another to touch the stone, waiting for you. You lift the tablet, and for a heartbeat, the sun dims. The light pulses faster now, matching your pulse. The hum inside you rises to meet it. Then you hear his voice, faint, echoing from across time. It wasn't meant for one mind. It was meant for all. You see flashes again, modern dig sites collapsing, artifacts vanishing into government vaults, Vatican agents collecting relics in silence. You see how they've hidden the truth, not out of malice, but fear. The hymn cannot be owned, and those who try are undone by it. You whisper, the flood remembers its keepers. The tablet responds, symbols glowing brighter. For a moment, they rearrange themselves into a phrase that burns into your vision. The end is repetition. You stumble back, heart racing. You understand now. Every rediscovery, every awakening, every flood, it's not progress. It's recurrence. The cycle of remembrance is also the cycle of forgetting. The world remembers until it cannot bear the weight, then buries itself again. You look at the horizon, where storms gather, dark and soundless. The curse of the archaeologist is the same as Gilgamesh's, to remember too much, to awaken only to know it will all be buried again. The hum in the air grows faintly distorted, too fast, too sharp. The sound is fracturing. You realize the hymn itself has reached critical resonance. The world is vibrating beyond stability. A voice rises from the stone, low and resonant. The flood that renews can also erase. Sing wrongly, and the pattern resets. You drop the tablet. The hum stops. The air goes still. Your breath quickens. The hymn has awakened the world, but without balance it could collapse it just as easily. The archaeologist's curse is now yours. The knowledge that remembrance and destruction are the same vibration at different frequencies. You stare at the horizon. The storm glows gold at its edges, silent but immense. You know what must come next. The only way to save the world is to retune it. You pick up the tablet again, feeling its warmth pulse in rhythm with your heart. Show me the pattern, you whisper. The symbols shift. A path appears, lines of light stretching eastward toward the ruins of Babylon. You understand. The next verse of the hymn lies there, the final note that can stabilize the flood. The archaeologist's voice echoes once more, soft and fading. Finish what we began, before the silence returns. You walk toward the rising storm. The tablet hums. The flood follows. And beneath your feet, the earth begins to sing again. Before you fade into sleep, remember, this isn't the end. The hum you heard tonight still moves beneath the world, beneath the skin of history, waiting for those who can hear it. If the sound still lingers in your chest, don't let it vanish into silence. Subscribe now. Stay close to the archives, to the next hidden chapter that hums beneath the Vatican dust. Because the next secret isn't waiting to be told, it's waiting to wake.